Hi, I'm Professor David LeBlanc, and I'm the student advisor for computer science students. So when you have questions about courses, what you need to take, maybe some alternative paths through that you're examining, and you want to talk about them, you should contact me at dcleblanc@upei.ca, and we can schedule in a chat. This talk, though, is basically an introduction to our programs, the different options, a few little quirks that might not be obvious, and it's for computer science students. Each program has its own advisor. I'm the advisor only for computer science. Okay, so let's take a look at our programs. So in computer science, you basically have three choices in majors. You can go for a normal CS major, which the vast majority of our students do. That's 120 credit hours, and that's the standard amount of courses required for a degree at UPEI. We have a major in computer science with a specialization in video game programming. This is a highly specialized program. It's made for people who want to work in the video game industry, which surprisingly enough is very strong in PEI. Charlottetown is the video game development center for the east coast of Canada, and we've got, well, three quite strong studios in town, and then a number of small independent, 2, 3 people studios. The video game programming specialization is quite unique in the courses you need to take and the order that you need to take them. If you're thinking of doing the video game programming specialization, it doesn't really start up until third year. So you do the first 2 years normally as you would as a computer science major, but third year is very different. You need to talk to me about this. I'm also in charge of the video game programming specialization. You need to talk to me in second year if you want to do the programming or the specialization, because there's quite a unique path through. Now, there's also an honors program. An honors rather than a normal major will take you 126 credit hours. The big difference there is you have to do an honors thesis rather than a capstone project. So everybody except honors students does a capstone project. Normal CS majors do CS 4820, which is a one-term course where you develop a project with a group. Video game programming specialization students do CS 4830, which is a 2-term course that you take in your final year of studies. Again, group development project where you build your own video game. Honors, though, there's no capstone project. There's an honors thesis. Now, if you're going to do honors, generally that's for people who want to go on to grad school. Most grad schools like you to do honors before you come. It'll make it a bit easier to get in. Yeah, and you need to find a potential supervisor for your honors thesis when you're in third year. Basically, in around January of your third year, you work on and submit a proposal for what your honors project or thesis is going to be. Then over the summer, it's typical that your supervisor will give you some readings to do, and then you spend 2 terms doing your honors thesis in your final year. And that's because it's a bigger thing. It's 126 credit hours. Now, with any of our majors, you can do co-op. So co-op is you get on-the-job training experience. So you go through a number of short workshops to prepare you for working in the job environment. Things like how to do a good job interview, how to do a resume, but also how to act once you're working for a company. So after you've completed those workshops, you can then apply for jobs that companies put in looking for co-op students, and the co-op office will help you and with those applications and sort of guide you through the process. I highly recommend co-op. Work experience is everything in computer science. So if you graduate with work experience, you'll have a much easier time finding a job, particularly for international students. Work experience proves that you can work in a Canadian job environment. A lot of employers are looking for that. Now, through a quirk in our system, if you graduate or you do co-op, you need to do 126 credit hours instead of 120 for the normal major or the major with the video game programming specialization. I'm going to come back and talk about that a bit more because co-op's a little quirky, as you'll see. So those are the programs that we offer. You can find the specific program requirements for all of the school's programs at the link provided there. You can also find advising forms. Now, these are the typical courses that students take every year through their program. So there's an advising form for each of the school's programs. So there's one for the normal CS major, there's one for CS major with video game programming, there's one for honors, and that'll just tell you when most students take their required courses. And you can find those at that Moodle link below. Okay, so every program has required courses and elective courses. The required courses you have to take in order to graduate with your chosen major. Don't forget that the school has a common core for first year that applies to all of the schools, no matter what major you're taking. So look at that and then look at the required courses for the major that you want to do. You also have to take quite a large number of elective courses. Now, elective courses are your choice. Any course that UPEI offers. And electives, basically, you're supposed to take stuff that interests you. Now, you can take anything you want. Most CS students take lots of extra CS and math courses as their electives, but you'll have to take other courses too. I will not advise you on what electives to take because they're supposed to be your interest, so I can't tell you what to take there. Now, some people will ask around and find the most interesting courses. Some people will ask around and find out what the easiest courses are. Whatever. It's up to you. It's your chance to investigate some stuff that may interest you. Some different areas that interest you, but it's up to you. So, like I say, every year people come to me saying, what elective should I take? And my answer is always, take what you like. Take what interests you. Okay, so when you're looking at the requirements for a major, it'll list the courses that you need to take. But there's also a few additional requirements. These are called breadth requirements. So of the elective courses that you take, 5 have to come from outside the School of Mathematical and Computational Sciences, and at least 2 of those 5 have to come from outside of the Faculty of Science, arts, business, whatever. That's a pretty loose breadth requirement, and it should be easy to meet. You'll also notice that we have what's called a writing intensive requirement. So you have to take 2 writing intensive courses. You shouldn't worry about this because 2 of the courses that are required for any of our majors are already writing intensive. So you have to take as a required course one of UPEI 1010, 1020, 1030, or English 1010. That's a writing intensive course. So that meets one of those two requirements. Also, you will have to take MCS 4210. That's a required course for all of our majors, and that's also a writing intensive course. So those two required courses will meet that writing intensive course requirement. So you don't need to worry about it. Now, other programs don't have two required courses that are writing intensive, but ours does. So don't worry about it. Okay, so let's talk about being a student in the school generally. Okay, first up, email. Check your email every day at least. Yeah, you probably think of email as being for old folks like me. And, well, yeah, email is something that's been around for a long time and tends to be used more by older people, but it's also used by business. So you have to get used to using it. It's also the way UPEI will communicate with you. So anytime we want to feed you information, we'll send it by email. And if you come back and say, oh, I didn't read my email, well, too bad. You're expected to check your email at least every day. That's how we will communicate with you, and we do not have sympathy for people who do not read their email. It's a requirement. So check it out. Lots of people will put forwards on their email accounts, your UPEI email account, to send it off to whatever you like to use to communicate. But everything that we send you, all the information will go to your UPEI email account. So you have to make sure that you're looking at that account with regularity. Another question that I often get, particularly from international students, is what about makeup exams or makeup marks? This is a mystery to us. This does not exist at UPEI. I can't say for everything because every prof can do whatever they want, but there normally is no such thing as an opportunity to make up a failed exam or an opportunity to miss or to make up marks for a missed assignment. You fail your exam, you fail. You miss your assignment, you get a mark of 0 on it. That's it. Now, of course, any prof can do their course pretty much any way they want, so maybe you'll find a prof that will let you do that, but not in computer science, not that I know of anyway, and certainly not with me. So don't think that you'll get a chance to, make up a missed exam or a failed exam. You will not. You will have to take the course again if you fail the course. Okay, let's talk co-op. As I said before, I highly recommend co-op. Co-op gets you work experience. Work experience is everything in computer science. So you should at least examine this closely. Now, you don't worry about co-op until second year. And in second year, the people from the co-op office will come in and do a presentation and explain co-op to you. Your goal is to get your first work term in the summer between second and third year. So in your second year, you'll do workshops. And once you've successfully completed those, you will be able to apply for jobs. Now, co-op jobs are not assured. It's not that you go into co-op and we will find you a job. No, you go into co-op, we'll give you the skills that you need to apply for jobs, but in the end, companies do their own interviews and they hire who they want and they don't hire who they don't want. So it's not absolutely assured that you will get a job in co-op. That said, our placement rate is extremely good. Most students in co-op get work terms through the co-op office. Now, co-op used to be a little odd for computer science, and if you didn't get your work term, well, you get to do it again or try again, whatever. I'm just going to explain the present rules to you. So, for starters, any job in the field can count as a co-op job. So if you go out and you find a job by yourself that's in computer science, doing computer science type stuff, you can go to the co-op office and say, look, I found this job. Can it count as a co-op work term? They'll run it by me, and if I agree that it's in the field, then you can use it as a co-op work term. Now, your employer has to agree to that too, because they have to do a couple. They have to sign a few forms, but it's not a big thing. Why would you do this? Because co-op work terms cost money. So if you find your own job, why would you count it as a co-op work term? Because you'll get credit for it. And this is a recent change. This has only been the case in computer science for the last year. Every successfully completed co-op work term counts as a course. So you go out, well, first you do your workshops during the school year. Those don't get you credit. Those just give you the skills you need to try and get a work term. If you get a work term and you successfully complete it, which is very easy, and that all you have to do is do a decent job and do up a small tech report, then you get a course credit. So why would you not count every summer job, or even if it's not in summer, but every CS related job as a co-op work term? You can spend the money on a co-op work term, get paid, and get a credit, or you can spend the money on a normal course, study it, not get paid, and get a credit. So even if you find jobs yourself, it makes sense to count them as co-op work terms. You'll have to pay, and of course you have to do all of the workshops first, but it used to be the case that students would do maybe one work term, get some experience, and use that experience to find their own jobs, and then drop out of co-op, because then they wouldn't have to pay for work terms. And this was before work terms counted as credits, and yeah, it kind of made sense if you could do it. But now it doesn't. Now every job that you get can count as a co-op work term as long as it's in the field, and you'll get a course credit for it. So again, pay for a course and take it, or pay for a co-op work term and get paid while you do that and get a course credit. It just makes sense to do it. So again, I highly recommend co-op, and you should seriously look at it, and if you've got any questions about it, come talk to me. Now, as I said before, if you do co-op and you want to graduate with co-op designation at the end of your studies, then you'll need to do 126 credit hours instead of 120. So in other words, to get the co-op designation on your degree when you graduate, you need to do a minimum of 3 work terms. So if you do 3 work terms, that's 9 credit hours, because you get in course 3 credit hours for every work term successfully completed. So if you successfully complete 3, you'll get 9 credit hours for those 3. 6 of those credit hours will go to making up that 126, and that's 1 less course that you'll have to take as you go through. There's also an optional 4th co-op work term, but you don't get course credit for that. People just do that for using the co-op office to find a 4th job. Now, that said, every co-op work term gives you 3 credit hours, 1 course worth of credit hours. That means as you approach graduation, you're going to have to make a choice. Let's say you've done 3 work terms. So you've got 9 credit hours. Now, you'll get those credit hours whether you graduate with co-op on your transcript or not. So you can decide whether you want to apply to graduate with the co-op designation, in which case you'll need 126 credit hours, or you can say, no, I want to graduate as a normal major, your co-op work term credits still count. So that means you'll need just 120 credit hours to graduate as a normal major. If you've taken 3 co-op work terms, that's 3 less courses you'll need to take. Yeah, so you'll have to make that decision. If you go through co-op and you build up those credits, when it comes time to graduate, you're going to, when you go into your 4th year, you're going to have to make a choice. Do I want co-op on my transcript, in which case I'm going to have to get 126 credit hours, or am I going to choose to graduate as a normal major? It won't say co-op on my transcript, but I'll only need 120 credit hours. That's up to you. Whether you think the co-op designation on your transcript is worth those 6 credit hours extra is a decision you're going to have to make, and I'm not really going to give you advice here on that. It's up to you. Depends what value you put on that co-op designation on your transcript. You might want to talk to employers as you go through the program about how they value that co-op designation on your transcript. Like I said, in computer science, work experience is everything, but that's work experience. That'll be on your resume, whether you graduate with co-op or not. You'll list the jobs that you had and what you did. Again, up to you. You can talk to employers, you can talk to other students, you can talk to me one-on-one about it, and talk to other profs one-on-one about it. We all have different ideas on this, what the value of the co-op designation is. It's a decision you'll have to make if you go through co-op. Now, with co-op, we also have another option that we just brought in last year. So the way it works with co-op is you pay your money, you do the workshops, and then you apply to go out on a work term. And if you get a work term, that's covered by the payment that you made. You do your work term, you get your course credit, and then to go on to the next, for your second work term, you have to do additional workshops, you have to pay again. So what sometimes happened is if somebody paid their money, did the workshops, and then failed to get a job, well, they've already paid the money up front and they don't get any credit hours. Now, in that situation, the co-op office will allow you to apply for the next round of jobs without paying any extra money. But sometimes people end up graduating before they can use that up. And this was flagged as a problem to us. People paying the money up front, not knowing whether they'll get credit for it or not, because they, like I say, employers hire who they want. And it's not guaranteed that you will get a placement. So if you don't, you can keep trying to get that placement, but you won't get the credit hours until you've successfully completed a work term. So to deal with this, we've come up with a really sucky backup plan. And it's really sucky because it's unpaid. If you fail to secure a paid work term, then you'll be given the choice of just holding off and applying again and not having to pay, or you can come to a prof. Now, only some profs will do this, so you have to ask the co-op office which profs you can approach. I don't do this, for example. But the profs that are participating, you can go to them and say, will you take me on for the summer as a research assistant without pay? That sucks. Working without pay sucks. It's not pretend. But on the other hand, at the end of that work term, you will get a course credit. So, it's, again, and this is up to you. If you go through the work terms and you apply and you don't get a placement, then, what are you going to do for the summer? Some students go out and find jobs that aren't in the field, which won't count as co-op jobs because they have to be in the field, but will still pay you. Some students, go off, maybe go back home if they're from away, somewhere else. But some students, their choice is just to sit around for the summer doing nothing. And if that's the case, doing these unpaid work terms actually makes sense, because at the end of it, you'll get a course credit. It's up to you. There's no pressure either way. You can do either way that you want. It's not completely unpaid. Basically, the prof that you work for will cover the cost of your work term. So, you pay for the work term, roughly a course cost. The prof will pay that, but you won't get the hourly wage that you normally would in a co-op work term. Like I said, it's a sucky backup plan, but choice of doing that versus twiddling your thumbs all summer, up to you. It's just there if you want to do it. Okay, and there's just some more information about these backups. Okay, one other thing that we deal with, and I particularly deal with, is course transfers. Now, there's a university rule that allows for credit gained at another university to be transferred to UPEI. Now, generally students who are transferring in from other universities take advantage of this a lot. So if you've studied 1 or 2 years at another university, either in Canada or in another country, and then you transfer to UPEI, the registrar's office will look at the courses that you take and give you some course transfer credit. Now, the registrar's office doesn't know computer science, so they're not very creative in recognizing courses that should be accepted for credit. Oftentimes when students transfer in from other universities, they get some transfer credit, but maybe not all that they deserve. If you're in a situation like that where you don't think you got all of the course transfer credit that you deserve, come and talk to me. I deal with this too. So sometimes we'll dig into it and see some other courses that the registrar didn't recognize as being relevant courses, but we think are close enough. And then we go to the registrar's office and recommend that they give you more credit. And usually they take our recommendations. So if you're having issues around the number of course credits that you got when you transferred to UPEI, come and talk to me. I don't guarantee that I will get you more credit, but I will look at it and make a recommendation one way or the other. Now, once you're at UPEI, you can, in theory, take courses from other institutions and transfer the credit back to UPEI. If you're thinking of doing this, you have to get approval from us before you do that, because we don't just blindly accept course transfer credits. We have a basic principle that we sort of follow, that UPEI students should be taking their courses at UPEI. That said, though, there are good reasons sometimes for people to take courses at other universities and transfer them back. And we will look at every application and look at the reason behind it. Good reasons. Somebody's going off and spending a term in another city. They want to be close to their family or their significant other. And they want to take some courses while they're in that city from another university. Yeah, we'll take a look at the courses, tell you which ones you can transfer back. That's normally not an issue. Another good reason that we tend to be quite flexible on is that if you need a course to graduate and you can't get it at UPEI before you want to graduate, that's a big one. And we're quite flexible about that. If you can show me a path where you can graduate a term or even a year earlier, but you need a course and you can't get it before that time, then often we'll take a look at other universities and see what's available, including online courses. And that's tends to be the standard approach. People take a course online from another university and transfer the credit back. But like I say, we will look at the reason you want to do this, and we do not guarantee that we will allow you to transfer credit back. That's why you need to talk to us first. So, for example, if you come to me and say, I don't want to take this course from Prof X, Prof X and I don't get along, too bad. Yeah, that's the way it is. That's not a good reason for trying to take it somewhere else. And we will not, I guarantee you, allow you to transfer credit, take a course somewhere else and transfer the credit back just because you don't want to take a course from a certain prof. Another reason, often related, is you've tried that course at UPEI and found it too hard, so you want to try from some other university. No, we set the standard for UPEI students. We make sure the courses that we're looking at cover the same material. In theory, they should be equally hard. That's not a good reason to try and take something somewhere else. But there are sometimes good reasons. Come and talk to us. I'm the point person for this. You talk to me about it. I'll look into the facts. I'll summarize them. I then make a recommendation to the Associate Dean, and the Associate Dean, Shannon Fitzpatrick, makes the final decision. But you have to do this in advance. And you have to tell us what course you're thinking of taking. Not just, I want to find a course that will replace this UPEI course. You have to show us the exact course that you're planning on taking so that we can compare them. And again, it's up to us in the end whether we decide to allow you to do it or not. And it has a lot to do with what the reason is, but it also has to do with how important that course is. The more important a course is, the less likely we are to allow you to take it for transfer credit. So elective courses, for example. Elective courses were generally pretty open. You want to spend the summer taking some online elective course somewhere else. Yeah, doesn't matter to us that much. Required non-computer science courses, yeah, we're pretty strict on that. You want to take, let's say, a physics course somewhere else to fill in one of those breadth requirement courses. Or you want to take a math course, a required math course somewhere else. We'll look at that pretty closely. We'll look at your reasons. If we can see that you could take it at UPEI without it really affecting your studies, that's generally what we'll do. But you can make your argument. Required computer science courses, we're very strict about. These are courses that we think you should be taking at UPEI. But sometimes we allow students to take them somewhere else because they've got a very good reason to do so. Often around the idea that they would have to come back for another term to complete their studies if they couldn't do it that way. So you can come to us asking for course transfers. Take a course somewhere else, transfer the credit back to UPEI. We do not guarantee that we will agree to this, though. If you want to do it, though, you need to find an equivalent course. You need to come to me with a link so that I can look at the course. Oftentimes you'll need to get a detailed syllabus so that we can look at it, make sure it covers the same material that our course does. It has to be from a recognized by us reputable university. We have to judge this to be a good university. So for example, in computer science, we do not accept CS courses from Athabasca University. We do not consider them to have the same rigor in their examinations that we do for our courses. So we will not accept transfer credits from Athabasca University. And Athabasca is the big online Canadian university. Now, math, on the other hand, does accept courses, transfer courses from Athabasca. So we will accept math transfer credits from them, but not computer science. There is another university that's starting to offer a lot of online courses called Thompson Rivers University. We are accepting their courses for now until we run into problems, but so far it's gone well. So you could take a look there. But in the end, if you can find an online course that matches the material from our course, and it's from a recognized university, because more and more universities are offering online courses, we'll look at anything, but we do not guarantee that we will accept it. Make sure you get approval before you do this. Sometimes we have students who just go out, take these online courses, and then walk in and say, I took this course and I got this mark. Please sign the form to transfer the credit back. And sometimes we say no, because you didn't take it from a reputable university, or the course material didn't match closely enough, or whatever. There is no guarantee that we will accept course transfer credits. So you have to get approval in advance, and that's the university rule. You have to get approval in advance. So, and for that, for computer science students, I'm the contact person. Yeah. Okay, quick note about the video game programming specialization. This is a very challenging program. It's designed to be very difficult because the video game industry only hires the very best people. Most computer scientists want to work in that industry, so they can pick and choose who they take. I'm quite proud of this specialization. We developed it with local industry, and most of the courses, the specialized courses within this specialization, the ones having to do with building video games, are taught by people who work for the video game companies and senior people. So CEO of one of them, and the tech lead of another, and the senior programmer from another. So this specialization is very much geared to the industry. The courses were designed by us, but in consultation with the industry people, and most of them are taught by industry professionals who are quite open about the fact that they're taking their time to teach these courses because this is how they recruit people. They choose who they're going to offer jobs to by how well you do in their courses. Video game programming specialization only kicks in third year. So you'll do your first 2 years normally, and then in third year you take a very different set of courses than a normal major, including a bunch of fourth year courses that you will take in third year. You need to talk to me about this. I created the video game programming specialization many years ago. I've been overseeing it since then. I work closely with the industry people. Come talk to me if you want to do it. And you need to talk to me in second year, because third year is very different. And if you miss out on that, well, you're probably not going to be able to do the specialization, not without doing an extra year of study. Whereas if you do it right, you can get the video game programming specialization in 4 years. It's a tough program. We don't try and hide that fact. It's designed to be tough. But it's a very good program if that's the industry you want to go into. Okay, just some other miscellaneous stuff. For those of you who are entering your first year, make sure you get CS 1920 in your first year. Now, some people come in and start in January. Some people have problems, struggle, fail 1910, have to end up taking it again in the winter. No matter what happens, though, you have to get 1920 in your first year of study. And we offer CS 1920 in both the winter term and in the summer term, just to make sure that you get it. If you do not get CS 1920 in your first year of study, you will almost certainly have to take an extra year to get your degree. Almost all computer science courses have CS 1920 as a prerequisite, i.e. you have to have 1920 before you can take the next course. So make sure that you get it. Like I say, we offer it in the summer for people who didn't get it during the regular fall and winter term. If you finish the winter term and you do not have CS 1920, you have to take it in the summer. If you don't, I can almost guarantee that you will spend an extra year at UPEI. So, yeah, make sure you have CS 1920 at the end of your first year, even if it takes you into the summer. Some of you, if you read through our academic calendar, which is a long read, will come across something called Challenge for Credit. Now, there is a provision in the academic calendar that says if you think that you know everything that this course is going to offer, you can come to us and say, I know this all. I want a challenge for credit. And then you just basically write the exam. And you have to get 70%. And if you do, then you get the course credit. This is not guaranteed. You just can't come in and randomly challenge for credit. You have to convince us that you have some background in this. So, you know, you've actually worked in the industry and worked with this product, you know, or this programming language or something like that. Or you took a very similar course somewhere else that wasn't enough for transfer of credit, but you think it gave you enough that you can pass the course. Yeah, again, you need to get approval from us. We will look at this, you know, quite closely. We don't like challenge for credit, but it can be done sometimes. So if you think you've got a background that demonstrates to us that you know this material already, then we may let you challenge for credit on a course. It's quite rare, but it is in the academic calendar. Okay, so that's the general stuff about the program, you know, some of the little quirks about it. You know, as you go, here, get back to me. You know, of course, as you go through the program and you talk to other students, especially students who are a year or two ahead of you, you'll find out some other little quirks. You'll find out who the profs are. You know, you have to worry about you know, what courses will take a lot of your time, what courses won't. Not every course is equal. You know, talk to other people. Come talk to us. Not just me. You can talk to any prof. That's one of the things UPEI prides itself on, that the profs are accessible. You know, I know not every culture, people from every country are used to going and talking to your teachers, your professors. That's very normal in Canada. And like I say, at UPEI, we pride ourselves on this. So don't hesitate to go talk to your profs, ask for advice. Or, you know, it's, if you don't think you got the mark you deserved on something, go talk to the prof. We're very open on this. Now, this year, because of the pandemic, of course, you can't just walk into our offices. And during a normal time, most of us are in during the day, and we have our office doors open, and you can just walk in. Yeah, this year you're going to have to drop us an email, ask us for a conversation, and we'll set up a quick conversation on Skype or Google Meet or Zoom, depending on what the prof likes to use. But especially me too, because this is my job. My job is to advise you, you know. So if you have any questions, I'm normally the person you want to come to at least first. And maybe I'll send you to talk to somebody else, but often just talking to me will solve it. Yeah, if you're not happy with me, you know, if you're trying to get something and you don't like the answer I get, then your next path is to go to the Associate Dean, Shannon Fitzpatrick, and appeal to her. But you don't go to her first. You have to come to me first, if you know, and ask me for what you want. If you're not happy, then you go to Professor Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm David LeBlanc, DC LeBlanc at upei.ca. I only teach fourth year courses usually, so you probably won't see me as a prof for a few years. But don't hesitate to contact me. I watch my email very closely. Normally, I'll get back to you, well, certainly the same day. It's very unusual for me not to, and often within minutes or hours. So, okay, so welcome to UPEI. I hope you have a great time here. We're here to help you through, and particularly I am here to help you through your program. Any questions you've got, just contact me and we'll set up a chat. Okay, I'll see you in third or fourth year, depending on when you get to my courses.